We've got 15. Do you wait just a little bit longer than one in case other people want to join?
Have you got some British jokes there?
Oh, I don't want to go into British jokes. No, James might have some better ones than me.
Not that we're recording now, no. And my humour's quite dry at the best of times, to be fair. So later on, I'll try and think of a couple.
Okay, maybe we can talk about the Black Friday campaign that we have. It is the last day. Today is the last day. Tonight it will vanish. So act fast. I will talk about this in my slides, but Maria, maybe you can share the landing page and people can check. I think we can start, huh?
Let's start.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I think it is morning. I hope it is a morning for somebody. So I will start like good morning, good afternoon, and also good evening to everyone. We are excited to have you join us today for this special joint webinar hosted by Media and Bitmovin. So welcome. The topic is exciting, right? How are we gonna get the most revenue while live streaming? Whoa. So briefly, we have seamlessly integrated the solution from Media and Bitmovin to bring you comprehensive approach to real-time streaming. Media server serves as a powerful real-time streaming engine, while Bitmovin Analytics provides invaluable data to optimize your live streams. So let's take a look at the agenda and our speakers today. Team from our support team will be on the stage with me, and James from the Bitmovin team will cover all the details about Bitmovin and the analytics solutions. We are going to talk about Media's mission and vision, details about Media server like benefits. Then we will introduce our marketplace and growing ecosystem structure. Then the magic part will start when Tim will talk about how to start using the Bitmovin Analytics plugin and with Media server. Then we will hand over to James. He will talk about Bitmovin. He will make a demonstration of the solution. He will dive into the dashboard of Bitmovin Analytics, and he will show us how to optimize your live stream. So let's get started with the mission and the vision. So basically, our goal is to democratize live streaming with an aim to be the live streaming engine of the world. At this point, I want to hear a few words from Oğuz. So Oğuz, if you want to talk for a while, you are more than welcome.
Yeah, so I don't expect this one. Anyway, thank you for the opportunity. So the point is here, actually, we are just running after to create some kind of impact in the world and create some kind of inspiration for guys in the world so that we can be the WordPress of the streaming, and then people can contribute to that project, can win together, and it will inspire the other peoples in the world that, yeah, some things like that can happen when the people get together. So, and it is a win-win for everyone, both in emotional way, I mean, both in, how can I say it? Yeah, both in emotional way and financial way as well at the same time. I'm just calling this one winning hearts and minds at the same time. So yeah, just join us. The future is very exciting. We are some things on our pipeline to change the things. And you are more than welcome to be part of this journey, and we can discuss how we can make this game win together. Thank you.
Thank you, Oğuz. So let me give brief details about Media server. Most of you guys know that Media server is the live streaming engine that allows you to build any type of video, audio, and data streaming applications on top of it. And it has been in the market more than 5 years. And Media server has been used by more than 4,000 instances worldwide. It is highly scalable and supports auto-scaling on both horizontally and vertically. By using WebRTC protocol, ultra-low latency, less than 0.5 seconds of latency is possible. Depending on the use cases, Ant Media Server also supports multiple input and output protocols such as RTSP, RTMP, SRT, HLS, and Dash. You can customize Ant Media Server and extend to suite your unique applications using plugins, API, and our SDKs, which are free, by the way. And thanks to adaptive bitrate feature, the end user bandwidth, the network quality won't be that serious bottleneck for your streams. Last but not least, the support. You can expect the highest standard support G2 rated our quality of support as 9.4 out of 10. So it is safe to say that you will never walk alone. So in here, let's hear from Tim about how are we gonna deploy Ant Media Server, where are we gonna deploy Ant Media Server.
Yes, thank you, Umut. So where can you deploy Ant Media Server? So it can be deployed on multiple platforms. It can be installed on any public cloud network like AWS, DigitalOcean, Azure. You can either install it manually, or you can use some of the easy click to install features on the marketplaces on these cloud platforms. With just a few clicks, you can get up and running straight away. You can install it on premises behind secure private networks. You can, like for example, a government network or a private company network. And can you move this slide just one more there for me, Umut? Thank you. Yeah, and to install it, so to install Ant Media Server, there's you can install it either as a standalone instance, so for example, just a single server, or on a VPS, for example. You can build clusters of instances for large demand. Easily auto scale it across Kubernetes using our Helm charts, or auto scale on AWS. For those who want to handle really large amounts of load, we have a really unique streaming service wizard which can build your infrastructure to handle thousands of users in just a few clicks. And the benefits of using this one is, you know, you can delete it once you've finished as well, and just launch it easily with a few clicks. So you're saving resources and money is spent on resources there. All you have to do is just enter a few key information, like the number of broadcasters, the number of viewers, and the infrastructure is created immediately. Like within a few minutes, you've got the whole infrastructure ready to go. You're only using resources that you need. So this method is going to auto scale up when demand increases. It's going to auto scale down when demand decreases. And like I said, you can deploy it whenever you want to. So once you finish with this infrastructure, you can just shut it down straight away and just launch it again when you want to. I'm going to just quickly put a link to the Stream Wizard, so in the chat, in case someone wants to have a quick look at that while we're talking. And also, please visit our YouTube channel. We've got loads of videos on how to install Ant Media Server with all these different types of deployments and other resources and tutorials that will be useful, which I've put in the chat as well. Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you, Tim. So yeah, you know, we are Ant Media. I mean, we are growing an ecosystem next to Ant Media and Ant Media Server. This ecosystem is a private and exclusive invite-only group of partners and friends. The main purpose is coming together and sharing business opportunities in a win-win environment. But how can this be beneficial for you? So, for example, we send and receive business opportunities. For example, custom development works or promoting your marketplace products that solves a problem for someone else's customer, and so on. Ant Media also offers a revenue share on all licenses sold. If you sell Ant Media Server Enterprise license, you will have the 25% revenue share of that deal. And you can meet new people and contribute to building innovation in the live streaming space. Also, we are collaborating with other channel members on enhancing our digital visibility with co-marketing activities. And also like developing plugins and applications together that push the boundaries of live streaming and video. So, I mean, it is invite-only group. So if Maria can share the form, if anyone wants to invite, please fill out the form and you will be invited shortly today. And we have already shared the Black Friday information at the beginning. We have the landing page information in the chat window as well. It is the last day of the campaign. I just wanted to remind you. So yes, the marketplace is a platform for everyone to sell plugins and applications built on top of Ant Media Server. It also serves as a place for startup and businesses of all sizes to easily create unique live streaming experiences. Briefly, we are now creating a marketplace for all streamers to cover specific use cases. For example, if someone needs to enable AI capabilities, here we have the direct AI solution. Or you want to apply custom overlays on your videos in real time, for instance, a watermark, we have this stamp plugin. Let's say you have lots of IP cameras and you have troubles managing them. We have CamOS for that purpose. Or you have WordPress website, let's say e-commerce store, and you can add Ant Assist plugin and start using real-time video support for your clients. Last but not least, if you need to optimize your live streams using real-time data, we have Bitmovin Analytics plugin, which provides deep insights into your live streaming, so you can make informed decisions about the quality of the broadcasts to improve user experience quickly, and you can identify the problems and increase the revenue. So Tim, I think this point is perfect to explain how to use the solution we built for Bitmovin Analytics. What do you say?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just going to give a quick demonstration how easy it is to get started with Bitmovin. Media.
I just stopped sharing my screen.
Yeah, stop sharing your screen, and I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to do a quick demonstration of how you can install the Bitmovin integration. So hopefully everyone can start seeing my screen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Here is an installation of Ant Media Server. So for those of you who don't know Ant Media Server very well, it's broken out into applications, and so it's the application side of things that have been modified, and these are bundled into what's called a WAR file that you upload as an application. It's all in the Stream app in this repository is where all the magic is happening. So this is all explained in the marketplace listing. So I'm going to quickly show you the marketplace listing here. Here's our marketplace. At the moment, Bitmovin is our featured product. And so within the listing, it gives you all the details required to install the integration. There's two ways of deploying this thing. It's either through the WAR file, like I said, a pre-built application WAR file, which you simply just upload, which I'll do in just a second. Or you can, if you need a more customized integration, there is ways of doing that and building the application yourself, which is all explained down here. So all you have to do here now to deploy this WAR file, there's a link here. I'm going to click on this link and I'm going to download it into my downloads like this. Okay, there it is. And all I need to do is go back to my dashboard here, click New Application. I'm going to name my application Bitmovin App, for example. And then I'm just going to choose the Bitmovin WAR file and create the application. Like this, takes a couple of seconds for it to upload. Okay, so that's done, and then all you need to do now is use the publish and play pages in order to start using it straight away. So, for example, that's me there. I'm going to start publishing a stream, and then I'm going to use the play HTML file, and I'm going to play this back directly like this. And what you'll find is it's already shooting back the data here. And of course, in the instructions in the marketplace listing, you'll see how you can pass your own API keys. And I think this is what James is going to go through in further detail. Thanks. I'm going to hand over to James now, who's going to give us a few more details on the Bitmovin side.
Hello, and thank you, and Media as well, for having me today as well. Yes, so what I wanted to do is just give you a whistle-stop tour of Bitmovin's back history, our products and solutions, and then as Tim's just shown, take you one step further, where you can see setting up the server and then actually seeing the analytics collector fire into our analytics dashboard, and then the data that can then be extracted from there with a view of how to improve revenue, maintain eyes on your service, and overall help with monetization. But if I may, let me just start by sharing my first page. Let me know if you can't see it.
Yep, we can see.
Thumb up. Good, very good, cool. So Bitmovin, 10 years old this year. We've been around a little while in the video space, video on demand space, I think it's fair to say. Our heritage is built off the backbone of being co-creators of the MPEG specification standard, and we maintain that educational view with supporting an Athena research project that's funded out of a joint combination of ourselves and Klagenfurt University to continue working on innovation in the video space. And that has borne over 30 US patents out of that solution and ourselves as a business. We're Y Combinator funded since 2015. What I'd say this year is we've been working hard on new products and solutions, and we've added a few different things to our services. From a product perspective, our core solutions that some of you may have been testing with, playing with, using in your services are our VOD encoder, which is cloud agnostic, works across the major cloud service providers, and it, in a split and stitch fashion, scales to meet high volume and high load in any country required. Our player SDKs that are available for all device formats required, as well as the plugins and bells and whistles that go with smooth playback. Our analytics solution that we're going to just look at today, live encoder, which I'm not going to step on too much today, but is part of the encoding solution, again on the cloud and available in all regions. Streams, which is an end-to-end playback or video encoding solution where people don't want to perhaps get involved in the complexities of the service and just run an end-to-end service. And then Streamlabs, which is part of what we call a component that we call playback, which allows you to actually test your streams against physical devices to get confidence that the streams are valid and they play back fine against things like TVs, which sometimes people don't always have access to. Streamlabs is a growing zoo of devices over 2 different locations that you can access through Bitmovin dashboard. And here we have Stefan and Chris, the co-founders of the business, who just popped up there as well. Changing page. So what is analytics and what's unique to our analytics compared to other providers? Just highlighting a few items here. The ease of integration. So whilst it's already been baked in as a plugin that Tim's just shown on the marketplace for Ant Media, it is also as a standalone collector, very easy to integrate should you ever so wish across all of your player portfolios. We have little components called collectors that you drop into your page, and it starts listening to the events of a player and then starts firing data and the insights from the player to our service. The data we consider your data, the customer's data, and so you can access it in a number of ways. It's available through API, which is our main approach to our services. You can access it through our dashboard. You can do full data exports if you so wish. In fact, our service is built on the same, our dashboard is built on the same APIs that you access to give you a feel for the kind of views that you could create if you wanted to as well. What we also then provide with our dashboard is a granularity, a view of the data that you can skew by 200 different dimensions and about 30 or 40 different filters. So you can get down to more granular insights. And we also provide a number of different views like comparisons, so you can compare different players or different countries to see how they're performing. And we've just recently released a live monitoring service that allows you to kind of get second accurate visibility of who's online, who's watching, what are your buffering rates, and I'll show you that very briefly in a minute as well. I thought this would be useful is how do we hang together with Ant Media as a sort of end-to-end solution? So as you can see, parts of the work that Tim just described is where you have your assets, whether it's live or your VOD, and you're outputting that to an Ant Media server, then transmuxing it and then pushing it through as an output as WebRTC or HLS or low latency dash. We sit at the end of that framework in the partnership here, where you can use our player to then, or other player, I should say as well, to then provide that playout experience to your end watchers and users. And then our analytics takes all of that data and allows you to give a quantifiable view of how your service is. What also analytics can do is suggest how you can improve your encoding and transcoding, change your renditions and your codecs to perhaps be more performant and price optimized service. So I wouldn't see analytics as just as user information, but how can you optimize your service to be cost effective as well? Analytics comes in all different forms, but we really try to focus on the aspects that allow you to have a cost effective and revenue sensible service. And by that I mean making sure that we give you the information across your audience, what they're watching, how long they're watching it for, what are the trends there, what's the startup time and things like that. And then the quality of the experience that sits more heavily around, has it taken a long time for the video to start? And if so, why? What errors are occurring? And can we go and find out what's the common factor that's causing that? Are you buffering perhaps in certain places in the world, or maybe the codec isn't supported for a number of your devices that you're trying to reach? What's the quality of experience for the customer, the user? And then we also provide, if you have it, advertising data, so that you can correlate that to your ad service providers, and so you understand how many ads are being watched, where they're being watched, what's the percentile completion rates, even up to where's the mouse on the screen when they're watching and did they click through, just to allow you to make those informed decisions as fast channels and things like that become ever more important. And why does quality matter? Well, if you bring it back to monetization, people turn off if they don't, beyond content, if they don't like the experience, they're less likely to take part in watching. I know that the player is only part of that, but what we've found from a series of years of video developer reports is that real turn off for customers are buffering, long video start times, frequent fluctuation in renditions, high error rates. Those kind of things just stop people watching the service, and I go into a few examples of that shortly. So we'll just admit that person. Without further ado, I'm going to reshare my screen and just try and hopefully walk you through a few things. Tim, keep me time conscious and honest if I'm overrunning, but I'd like to cover a few things if I can.
No, go for it. Yeah, it should be fine.
Okay. Okay, so hopefully you can see here, I've got a view of, just bring that back there, I've got a view of, as festive as I could get, view of outside of my office, and this is hooked up to a separate camera. And so this is just where Tim showed you to publish a WebRTC feed. Oh, hopefully that's going to come through. There we are. Ignore that, I just pressed it twice. So what I've just done there is I've kicked off a WebRTC stream, and on the right hand side, if I just go to my options as well, I've chosen my max bit rate, I've chosen my camera, I've done a few different tweaks in the configuration, and this is the return. I just saw some buffering in the playback there, but what you can also see, it's probably a bit small, I can just, don't know if I can increase the console size, is every time I interact with a player, for example, if I did a pause and a play, a pause and a play, and just leave it on a pause, the little analytics collector keeps on firing. What that means is that we are then capturing a status of what that video is doing. And within the collector, there's a payload. And the payload will cover everything from the analytics version, the player name, the domain of where we're streaming from, how far through the video we are, what's the name of the video, what's the screen height, what rendition are we serving, what's the state, and if it's in a pause or play state. That all gets sent as a bundle of information to our video analytics solution, which by the powers of, powers of Google, just swiped over to here on the left-hand side. Analytics sits within our home dashboard against also VOD and player and streams. And within there, we've got some key areas, audience, which is the audience metrics, quality of experience, and then some other views like top errors and monitoring. If I jump to monitoring quickly, that's the real-time monitoring. You can perhaps see, maybe if I increase a bit more, that this actually just captured my publishing of the stream. I'm the one user there, and we've just jumped up to 2 as I restarted the stream. And there's been 1 play in the last 15 minutes. No rebuffering at the moment. And the video start time was just under a second, which was quite a nice time. Actually, a bit slow maybe for WebRTC. Just using some demo data here, and maybe if your services have 300, 500,000 watches, you can really start to see where this information becomes valuable. You can see how many concurrent users you've got on your service at any one time, how many plays they were, what's the rebuffering percentage, are they having a good experience as they're watching your live stream, and what error codes are occurring. If there are a significant spike in error codes, what does that mean? That's probably quite a good way to actually just segue into top errors. I'll just move to a different view there. Top errors is where you can really do some root causing to understand what's going on and why are people having some problems. If I was to filter this top errors view by maybe Android devices, they've been particularly fickle recently. I don't know if anyone knows, with some codec support. You can sort of go and really probe into what are the issues that are affecting your users within the last 3 hours or any other further duration. And let's say we've got some buffering issues, or quite typically a 2001 error. When did they occur? On what day? And really importantly, let's have a look at some of those actual sessions that resulted in that error. Might not be a very good example because the 2001 error is a didn't start. So maybe if I jump to buffering instead, you can perhaps see a different kind of view. And here you can see the session of a user that had a service. They did have some playback. There was a bit of buffering. They were getting a 7 meg stream, which is pretty good. The data download speeds varied. But at the very end, it ended normally. They had a good start time. But what actually happened? Let's go and look at the session. And so the analytics collector is providing all of this information, and it's telling us when the player started, seeked, what the video start times were, the resolution. But importantly, at the very end, it tells you what happened just before the error. There was significant buffering. And then on top of that, we might also get a little stack trace sometimes. A little stack trace as to what the error was that actually happened within the code to then allow you to go and fix it. So that top errors is a very useful one to improve the quality of the service for customers. Another view which also is very good for optimizing your service to be more profitable, is another way of putting it, is to use our video bitrate heat map. So if you're running a service and you've got several renditions available to users, you can go and say, well, are they being consumed is that rendition valid? Am I storing that rendition for no reason? And is my CDN distributing that rendition as well for no reason as well if it's being pulled? And the video bitrate heat map allows you to see what rendition have the users been on during a session. And this example here shows me that for an Android device, again, we've got maybe about 8 different renditions, feels quite heavy. 2 of those renditions have had hardly any usage whatsoever. It suggests that your audience don't require those renditions, or your rendition spread has significant overlap so that people aren't falling into that rendition. That would tell me from an encoding perspective, I could probably remove a couple of these renditions without materially impacting on the user's quality of experience. And that would save you encoding speed. Don't tell my company that, but it would save you encoding time. And it would also reduce the storage that you'd necessarily have to be doing, certainly with VOD items as well. So that's video quality. We do focus on that quite heavily. Plays, something, just a general view that you can also see plays and unique viewers and concurrent viewer sessions in the audience view. But I also wanted to just show you something like a comparison view, which is where maybe you want to split and evaluate your viewership, not just by device, but how am I comparing when I take 3 different regions? And for that, we provide a really clean view of what are the startup times in a region compared to another region, compared to a 3rd region or 4th. A bit like if you're comparing products on Black Friday and you want to know which one to buy, we're really doing the same here, giving you the information to say, how are my different regions performing? You can also skew that by things like, how are my various platforms performing? If you were to add another column, demo data. Or how are my different domains performing? If you had 2 or 3 different domains and you wanted to see, is one more performant than another? If you've got multiple services across multiple domains. So I think without going into too much detail in here, these are probably some of the key views. The only other one I might maybe step on is actually buffering and debugging and error percentages. So if you go to rebuffering percentage, no one likes a buffering situation. We had a little one here, probably when I loaded up earlier. Looking at demo data, you can see that we set a trend level where we expect buffering shouldn't exceed this percentage value. That's based on an industry standard. So it gives you some context as to whether you're above or below industry standard. And if you are above, then it's a good idea to start investigating what's causing that buffering or high error rate. And so we actually offer industry insights across quite a few different views in our analytics. Okay, I'm going to stop presenting my sort of demo, which thankfully worked. And then just, if I may, get back into the slides. So taking some of what you've just seen into context, I wanted to run through a couple of examples where we've worked with customers to achieve achieve positive outcomes, which were very honestly perhaps impacting on monetization or viewer ratings. So taking buffering and rebuffering into account, we often come across user cases from customers where, using the analytics and the insights that it drives, they see that their buffer values are too high. And what we do there is we work with them to go and root cause, or why is it occurring? And here's an example of where we had an American provider who provides streaming services. They were reporting higher buffering. They had a certain target that they expected and want to maintain, but they were finding that on some smart TV devices, normally the lower end devices, the buffering is just too high to create a stable service, especially if you've got live content with a DVR as well. And so they implemented our analytics and were able to then go and look at some individual sessions that were buffering to get a feel for what were the unique attributes about those. And through that insight, we were able to help them configure their player and actually identify when those rebuffering events were occurring in server-side ad insertion streams. Quite often happens as you go from advert to main content, because you often have DRM challenges as an example. And how they went and did a process of improvement was through A and B testing, changing a few things with assistance. and then seeing what the times were like with a step change rollout. The outcome was, positive. They got to where they want to be, but they also had some side benefits, which were improved start times on those target devices as well. Extreme startup times, that's another regular area that people want to look at, that no one likes to wait a long time for your stream to start. And this happens quite often, again, on smart TVs. They can be quite fickle in that regard, partly because we're still trying to work with ones sometimes 6 or 7 years old. A national broadcaster, which was predominantly ad driven, had this sort of problem, and we did a focused exercise with them looking at Tizen TVs to see what was causing startup times there. How we did that with them was look at different types of streams that they had, some with DRM, some that were clear, some with ads and DRM, and really got a feel for what were the attributes in the stream that was causing a delay in startup times. We identified a couple of errors actually that were on the stream that we could massage over and be more sympathetic with player configurations. And by doing so, we're able to isolate the streams that we know are going to be more hard to start up sensibly and focus on those and reduce total startup time as a result. And they got around 20% savings and startup time, taking things down from, like, it doesn't sound a lot, but from 12 seconds down to about 8.5 and 9 really feels quite a bit of a difference for a user when they've been experiencing long startup times. And then top errors, which everyone's seen, but we do really encourage almost a top-down statistical processed approach to dealing with errors. Go and look at your top 3 errors, work out what's going on with them and get rid of them, and then work on the next 3. Quite often that approach, you see quite material benefits quite quickly. We had a live sports broadcaster out of one region, and they had a high degree of errors when they just couldn't have it when it was a live sports service. So we went and analysed what were their high errors. And they were able to go and show us the sessions that were occurring and when the errors were and what they were. And by doing so, we were able to help diagnose those and address them. Some were due to buffering, others were maybe due to server errors as well, or license renewals. And we can work to kind of either resolve them if it's something we can fix within the player, or be more sympathetic within the player, or help you on the journey across your video chain and fix them, or assist in fixing them if it's a DRM response problem, for example. And I've already stepped on this, so I don't think I'll lay on there, say much more than I probably did, but some views in the analytics allow you to go and look at whether you've got the right codec in place for your viewers, which is one way of saying, am I being cost effective? Or am I streaming with the right rendition makeup that makes sense for the people that are watching with the devices that they're using? So I hope that was not too much too quickly. I know I probably covered quite a lot. What I would say is, if you haven't tried the Ant Media solution with Bitmovin, just go and give them a trial. We have free trials as part of our service as well, and the Black Friday offer that Maria talked about at the beginning. But if you have any questions, please feel free to I don't know, challenge the speakers. I think we're all open to anything really, if that you may have, or not.
No questions at all from anybody. So
We've answered them all. That's why
everyone understands everything. That's wonderful. Okay. Okay. Oh yes, you raised your hand.
Yeah. So the earnings side is not very clear for me, and sometimes I just confused about that. Could you please give how to increase the earning or revenue by using these two solutions?
Yeah, so for me, it's around improving the experience till you maintain the reduce the churn of watchers. So what we've identified through several years of video developer reports, that part of the reason that you have churn, and if you can't control the content, it's the experience. So it's ensuring that that's the best possible experience it can be, and that means faultless, really. So using the analytics to ensure that you're serving the right content from an audience perspective. What are they watching? Can we serve more than that? So you can be more intelligent in your engine of what you're serving or presenting, and how long they're watching, and do they need to resume. But then the second part, which keeps the eyes on, the second part is the seamless experience. So try and get them up to the best rendition that they can, and keep them there with a low start time, low buffering, as little switching as possible, and then they'll stay at the service. What we don't, they're the levers effectively that you can use, and analytics and is part of the tools that you can use to keep that service at the quality that they require. What the levers that we don't have in these tools, of course, are the price point of the service that you provide and the content that you're serving. So, but I really think that keeping the quality at a premium for the service is really what helps reduce the churn. We've got some statistics. I think 13% of people leave if buffering occurs within the first minute. I think for every second extra for start time, a certain proportion of your viewers will turn off. So reducing that means that you've got more watchers, even if that's ad revenue as well.
So you fix the pain points, you understand the pain points, and you fix them, then it will absolutely returns us with more revenue. Or
you want to maintain the quality of your watching service, of course. That said, with everything, if you're doing releases, you want to test properly to make sure it's a smooth release. But it is a hard landscape out there. I mean, 26,000 plus devices on Android, and everyone wants to watch on the device that they have. Means that you really need to be across your data, and sometimes make hard decisions to turn off support for a device. Analytics again can tell you when that's safe to do so. So you might say, you know what, I'm going to cut devices on iOS 12 operating systems, for example, or you know what, we killed Orsay because it was just not supportable anymore. Tizen 2016, they're on the cusp. So use the insights from your users to determine minimum impact when you make those, which could be quite costly financial decisions. If a region actually uses those devices quite a lot and you weren't aware of it, you've just lost 1,000 eyeballs without realizing.
Makes sense. Thank you very much.
Yeah, good question. What I can extend that question if you want is, with the codec landscape as it is, look at the data to say what are people watching on, and what does that device support? Because if you start to serve a multi-codec strategy, and by that I mean perhaps serving HEVC to some devices and AV1 to others, give or take a year, you can reduce your cost of CDN distribution and to a degree storage as well. So use the data from analytics to drive your encoding strategy so that it's future-proof but also cost-efficient.
Yeah. Okay. So the last question is, let's say that we would like to understand how the lovely users use the media player and what are their experiences. So do we need to get some kind of extra confirmation to collect the analytic data, or so what is the terms there? I think you know all these things on your end.
So let me I'll bring up a blog. It wasn't written too long ago. If I think I understand your question correctly, what if we're not using the Bitmovin player, but a third-party player like Video.js? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So at the beginning, and just like Tim probably mentioned as well, is when you playback, our player has the collector integrated already. But Tim has also done a demonstration previously where it's a Video.js or an HLS player, and for that you just add a collector. The integration of a collector is probably about 10 minutes, It really is. It's not an integration. It's probably just adding it as a little file at the top, and that collector already listens to the events that will be firing with video.js. In fact, if I just scroll down here, I think here we are. We've got examples in CodePen already of a collector for Dash.js or Shako or HTML5. So those collectors have already been built. You just need to use those if you want to use Bitmovin Player. But I would highly recommend Bitmovin Player.
Okay, so Bitmovin Player supports WebRTC.
Sorry again?
The Bitmovin Player supports WebRTC.
Yes, it does. We've done a bit of work on that last year. In fact, Tim and myself just covered that yesterday. That we should really just showcase an example of that at some point as well. We've also done quite a clever one where you can go back and you flip over to a HLS stream to allow you to go into the DVR. That could be done by anybody. It's quite a good approach to handling playbacks. And actually something that Ant Media could support as well, because they do WebRTC and HLS output as well. So that could be quite an elegant way to have latency with your WebRTC, low latency of your WebRTC, and then flip over to a HLS live stream for your catch-up element.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, I think there are some other questions.
Yes, we've got Adam. Would you like to, you had something to say? Have your hand raised?
Maybe.
Are you there, Adam?
Maybe got his hand.
Sorry, I was on mute. Rico, just it's a question for Ant Media as well. Just to understand more about the server. Does it work with all playback protocols such as Dash, HLS, and WebRTC?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, the integration will work with all of those protocols. Yeah, and it's working out of the box. So if you install the integration as I showed earlier, then everything is going to work as expected using Dash, HLS, and WebRTC. Yes.
Cool. And one for Bitmovin. James, what would you see is the view within the analytics that gives the most benefit to users?
That's an impossible question, Adam. I can't say all of them. My personal thanks. I like top errors. To me, I like top errors until you don't have any errors. So that's really that top errors really generally are blocking customers or viewers fully. So their experience is going to be poor. So I like top errors. I guess from a commercial side, I guess people like plays and like to see a certain degree of plays, but top errors and then buffering. But it depends really what you're looking at the data for. I'm looking at it normally from a quality of experience on the customer's behalf. Tough. Thanks. Don't ask a question like that again. Anyone else?
Yeah, let me ask a question also. I hope this will be a little bit easier than the previous one. So what are the most common use cases for using Bitmovin Analytics? I mean, I get it that the features are kind of universal and can be beneficial to many live streaming services, in different industries. But I mean, like targeting everyone is basically not targeting anyone. So, I mean, there should be some specific use cases that are more popular at the moment. I don't know.
Live streaming and ads quite poignant at the moment. So the real monitoring solution is really geared towards live as well. So it's knowing your audience, and so that anything that's live, whether it's sport or event-driven, speaker-driven things, then that's why we've got the real monitoring solution. We used to previously only kind of give a 15-minute view, but really we wanted to give a real-time solution to see, look, how many people are watching right now and what's their experience. So that's one real key user case. Our ads, so our analytics also captures ads. So with the fact that quite a lot of services are moving to ad driven, whether it's client side or server side. So supporting those use cases is fundamentally important. But I'd still go back to ensuring that, and I think it spans everyone's user case to have a good quality of service. You can't, or experience, you can't say that it's not important across any sector. So that's a catch-all for me.
Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you for answering. Any other questions, guys? Oh, Rahul is here. Let's go with your question.
Hi, James. Actually, I have a question regarding what are the intervals, at what intervals you are sending the analytics data to the cloud? So
Yeah.
is it going parallelly or it is connected via socket or something? How it happens?
If let me see, it's at the data level. Is it done at a collection at an event driven level? So first off, it's just like a API call. It's like a post. You can see it in the collector. If I can go back to it, let me just bring that up. And we'll share. Here, so there we are. All of these calls are just they're a payload to an endpoint, and within that payload we've got the data, and they are fired not at set intervals. We find that could be quite heavy. You can do dynamic data where you force a call.
Okay, so let's suppose. Okay, so let's suppose we pause the video, then it sends the collected data to the cloud.
Yeah.
In
So
any particular event driven, we are firing the APIs. In any particular event, we are firing the APIs to the cloud, and we collect those data.
That's
and
right.
Reset the data at the player level.
It's at the player level. And you can see also here, just a wider example, if I was to full screen here and then go back down, that's fired off a collector here. So it's event driven, listening to the events of the player, and then a call to the API end service with your unique key. So hopefully that answers your question. What we don't do is, like quite a lot of other services do, is fire every 5 seconds or anything like that. It's not data heavy. We do it at event level. So if there's a rendition change, event fire. If there's a material change, event fire, rather than some sort of heartbeat, which quite often is the case. If you stop playing, then an event will fire. Therefore, your duration. You don't need to keep on saying, "I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive," which is how some other services work.
That's it. There is one more small question here. So suppose we are broadcasting a live IP camera. So there is no any type of event firing is there. We are not stopping the video. Where there is no buffering, let's suppose. So how you are just managing the data? Because there might be some situation where the player or the local machine memory or the browser memory gets full. So that might hang the system, or how you are refreshing the data, variables in the player end. So
we're reading the variables of the stream and of the manifest and of the player, so that there is that analysis going on. But I haven't seen a case that you've described before yet where we're then consuming too much memory or anything like that.
Okay, thanks, James.
Cool. Yeah, so if you've got any further questions, feel free to fire them through. Adam?
I actually don't know if this was discussed, but definitely it'd be good to understand more for Tim. Just understanding with the media side, how does it work with clusters and multiple instances, the server?
Oh yes, thank you, Adam. Yeah, so if you have deployed across clusters or anything like that, any large deployments, then it is just going to work normally as we explained earlier. There's no additional configuration that is necessary. Actually, I just wanted to quickly add as well that you can use, obviously you can use other players and integrate the Bitmovin analytics, but if you're using WebRTC, so the WebRTC piece is integrated within the AMP Media on the AMP Media side when you install it. So you will have to use that in order to take advantage of the WebRTC data tracking that way. But as I said, it will work across clusters or any other types of deployments out the box. Thanks.
Thank you for answering that.
Any other questions, guys? I think everyone has everything they need.
I just have one last question regarding, let's say, pricing or anything like adoption, right? Not really pricing, because that's not really what the point is. It's more about adoption. Is it easy to get started with AMP Media? Is it, and also Bitmovin? Like,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, do you want to answer that? I think you wanted to say something there. I'm not sure.
Yeah, definitely. So it is, I mean, today is the best day to start with AMP Media because we are offering 25% discount for the Black Friday campaign for the Enterprise Edition. And other than that, like AMP Media Enterprise Edition has 3 different models of licensing: monthly, annual, and perpetual. So any of them will do with Bitmovin Analytics, and the cost is like, I mean, the monthly one $99, the annual one is $948. It is $711 today, by the way, and the perpetual one is 2.5K. So depending on your use case, you can choose one of it and one of them, and like continue using this plugin, but there is a cost at the Bitmovin site as well, right, James?
There is. We have a tiered setup here. We've also doing a Black Friday-esque discount as part of that. So if you are signing up with AMP Media, please also let us know. We start at pay-go, which is pay as you go, but that also includes an element of free impressions. I think it's about 100,000 impressions a month or something like that. So I say really go and try the service. We also do a free trial as well. So the best possible way to get started, and is it easy? Back to the question is yes. Go and give the trial a go, get up and running. If you need any help, engage with the support routes that are available and with the community as well, and get up and running, and then pay go upwards to Enterprise Concierge for those kind of heavy hand holding experiences if it's ever needed. But I say go try it, ask some questions, and then you'll really see how easy it really is.
Thank you very much.
Cool. Oh, we had fun. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much, everybody, for coming and being here.
Yeah, definitely, guys. It was good to see you.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Maria.
Last thing, guys, I really want to see all of your faces and make a screenshot for our webinar YouTube thumbnail, so everyone knows that you've been here. So please open your cameras for a second.
Oh.
So can you stop sharing your screen so you can take a screenshot?
Sure, give me a second. Oh, now I can see who I've been talking to. Hello, everybody.
Hello, finally we see everyone. And smile, please smile for me. Cheese. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Maria.
I think there was just one other question. I saw someone raise their hand.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was a mistake or not, though. Pushing the camera. That's happened before. Is there another question? Anybody? Your last chance. No more.
Okay, so I have a question for a Stream app.
Can
I ask here?
Yeah.
Okay, so are we versioning the JavaScript SDK of a Stream app? So this is I am asking just for when we are integrating the JavaScript SDK into the WordPress plugin. Then WordPress asks for that this particular plugin will work with what WordPress version, right? So we have to test every particular version of the WordPress that it is compatible. The plugin is compatible. So if we have suppose if we have developed the plugin on a CMAP version 1.000, right? So I have to describe that this particular version is compatible with AntMedia 2.5.6 to 2.5.8 or something. Right. So are we versioning the JavaScript SDK? So that would be easier for the longer run, so that we can maintain the plugin compatibility with AntMedia server version compatibility.
Yeah, yes, we are versioning the AntMedia SDK. Let me share you npm link where you can see all the versions. Just a second. Yes, there it is.
So is it mentioning that this will work with AntMedia server version 2.7.0 or 2.5.0 to 2.7.0? Is it mentioned here?
Usually, most of the latest SDK is backward compatible, but there are some deprecated things that might be wrong. So it is good to have the same version of WebRTC SDK as the AntMedia server version.
But both versions are different, Usama. I think CMAP version, JavaScript version is different, and the AntMedia server version would be different, because AntMedia server version is 2.7.0 currently, I think, and I don't know about the AntMedia JavaScript npm version.
Yeah, you can find the same 2.7.0 version on the JavaScript side as well.
Okay, I got it. I think this is latest updated, I think. In earlier version, it was not there, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. I think I got my answer. Thanks, Usama.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Maria has. Yeah. Go ahead. It is your coffee link.
I was saving my little sixth throat, but I will say it. I will announce it. I know you guys love me announcing stuff. So I wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for everyone for coming today to our event and talking with us and getting to know AntMedia and the Bitmovin Video Analytics plugin. Thank you so much. I wait for your heart emoji. Thank you finally. So yeah, we just wanted to show you some good faith in you guys from AntMedia team. So please check the chat box. There you'll find a Google form that you can fill out, and you will get a free coffee from us, just so you can enjoy coffee and think a little bit about live streaming, and how can we improve the industry altogether. So thank you very much.
Thank you all for coming here, and thank you, Maria, for this great jokes.
Thank you very much for having me as well. Really
yes, thank you,
James. Thank you. Sorry, I forgot. Thank you. all the Bitmovin team as well.
Exactly. Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Good. Well, I'm going to go and get a coffee. So thank you very much. See you later.
Indeed.
See you later, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.